Cool.
Be on Twitter.
On Twitter.
All right, we should be ready to go.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 243, recorded on August 15th, 2019. On tonight's episode, we discuss brand new game announcements for the Nintendo Switch, Pokemon Masters already having 5 million pre-registrations, Fire Emblem selling like hotcakes, and so much more. Jesse, hit that sweet, sweet music. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's August 15th, and you're listening to episode 242 of Nintendo Dads. I'm Marty Estes, and I'm joined tonight by a colorful cast of creative characters who are chomping at the chance to discuss Nintendo. You thought I was going to pull out some more C words there, didn't you? Well,
I didn't know where you were going with that.
I don't know. I don't know where I was going, but we're here, and that's the most important thing. Jesse Waldack, over there in Kansas City, in the middle of a ring of storms. You're like Johnny Cash, except with storms, not fire. How's it going?
I'd probably prefer it to be storms versus fire, but yeah, I'm doing good. And speaking of colorful casts, the shirt I'm wearing is
My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia dressed as Power Rangers.
Look at that. Where did you get that wonderful shirt, if somebody wants it?
Well, I don't think it's available anymore because I get most of my shirts from Ripped Apparel, which only has designs up for 24 hours.
Yep, they're wonderful.
One of my favorite places to go.
Yeah, I've got plenty of shirts in my closet from rippedapparel.com. Not sponsored by them, by the way. Just like their shirts. Also, all the way from Michigan.
Yes.
Jamal.
Yes. I'm
Michigan
so happy.
Is a city in Minnesota. Wearing that sweet Autobot hat. I love it.
Yes. Autobot, Optimus
Tim
Prime.
and Jesse, I wanted to ask you, totally off topic here, have you seen the Kickstarter that Hasbro is doing for the largest Transformer of all time?
Yes, I have.
I saw something about that.
It is
$600.
Awesome. But it's $549.99. And 8,000 people have to pre-order it at $549.99 for it to and it's got till like August 31st, and there are only 2,000 people in.
I was just going to look it up to see.
It's Unicron.
It's Unicron.
It's like
a massive
movie version Unicron that stands 2 feet tall.
Yes.
It's larger than even the largest Transformers they produced so far.
More detailed than the toy
even if I was
version that
still
came out with.
collecting at this time, like I was back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, I would be very hard pressed to spend that much money on this.
Yep.
Even though it looks amazing. If somebody wants to like pre-order one and send it over to the show, I will gladly review
Pre-order
it.
2.
I'll do whatever. Mysterious benefactors of the Nintendo Dads. Well, guys, we've got not a lot to talk about tonight. It's been a very quiet week in the world of Nintendo, but that's given us some time to play some games, and we're going to get into that here in a little bit. But first, let's get into a little bit of news, shall we? And as always, our news is brought to us by you over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Even if you want to throw a little bit more money the Dream way, you can do that too. All right. So patreon.com/Nintendo Dad. Thank you to our brand new patrons. I'm going to tell you who they are, guys. Thank you so very much to Dakota Falk and Joe Hansen for being our new patrons. We love you guys, especially. We really love all you guys who've been in this for so long and been supporters of the show for a really long time. And we are going to be getting around in the coming weeks to having our producers on as guests again. And so if you're a Patreon producer, shoot us an email. Let us know a scheduled time, a scheduled Thursday night that would be good for you, and we will work you into the schedule, and we will get you back on the show. We need to do that. But, hey, I don't know what just happened Like I went to sleep for a few minutes, and
Dan says, just tuning in. Is this the right podcast?
Yeah, I don't know.
And the music ended just naturally, just when you went back out of character, back into your normal persona.
I don't know what's talking about.
I don't know. Neither do I.
Sure. Persona. That would just be my luck. Like if I'm in a Persona game, my persona is Dusty Rhodes.
Sure, why not?
Yep.
No, I would be okay with that. If they wanted to make a game about somebody whose persona was Dusty Rhodes, yes, let's do it. Let's talk about some news real quick. Not a lot going on this week, but we do want to highlight a couple of game announcements that we think that you guys will be interested in, mainly because we're interested in them, and I think that it's good for us to highlight some games every now and then. So Shantae 5 is coming out. This is not new news, but we've known this for a while that WayForward and the guys over there are working on the next Shantae, but it now has an official title. It is no longer just Shantae 5. It is Shantae and the 7 Sirens.
You swapped out one number for another?
Yeah. It's not the 5 Sirens. It is the 7 Sirens. There's still no release date on this, but I would imagine 2019 is probably what they're shooting for.
It wouldn't surprise me if it goes into spring next year.
You think? It just seemed like so much like they announced it and then they immediately did like the so and so animated the
I don't know. Well,
the beginning
the end of the
like,
year seems packed, so I won't be heartbroken if they delay it a little.
No, there's plenty to play through the rest of the year. But I'm just like I said, I think it's still going to be 2014. Right. Now, Jesse, I know you're interested, Shantae.
Yeah, I'm interested. I haven't. See, I think I've tried playing every game, and the first 2 didn't really click with me well, and I got most of the way through the 3rd, and I beat the 4th. So.
Okay, Tim, have you played any of these games?
I have not.
What?
I've admired them from the outside. It's just one of those ones I never got around to playing.
You definitely got to play. What was the one that was just on the Wii U, or did it make the port too? Not Half Genie Hero, but the one before that. Pirate's Curse.
Pirate's Curse. Yeah. I don't. See, that was originally on 3DS.
Yeah, they all look great. I always wanted to play
definitely got to play like Pirate's Curse and Half Genie Hero. Have some of the best.
Yeah. Pirate's Curse is on the Switch.
Okay, they have some of the best, like control and animation in any game. Like
and they're Metroidvania type games, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah. And it, more so than the Metroidvania, like more so than a Metroidvania where like everything is connected. In these games, you go into different zones, and you have to go back into those zones as the game progresses, and like either go on fetch quest, or take an item, or go fight a new boss, or do something like that. And the humor is great too. There's a lot of humor in these games.
Cool.
Definitely keeps you coming back, and so definitely check out both of those.
To my Switch list.
The very first, like I've got the first one.
The 3DS version certainly was creative with the 3D usage. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, nice.
Maybe I'll pick that up for the 3DS then.
It came out on the Game Boy Color, right?
The original was on Game Boy Color, yes.
I have that one on the Wii U, and it's almost unplayable.
Yeah,
like I get its charm.
I think I bought it on 3DS Virtual Console when that was first available.
So anyway, that's out there. Shantae and the 7 Sirens coming soon. Also announced this week, a very welcome return for me and lots of other people apparently online, as I've seen a lot of positivity about this. Bubble Bobble for Friends will be coming out November 19th, 2019 in Europe, but will delay its launch in North America until 2020. But this is basically a revival of the Bubble Bobble series exclusively for Switch that will include 4 players simultaneous play, most likely via, single Joy-Cons. I am extremely excited about this because I love the Bubble Bobble series. It's one of the games I remember playing a lot with my mom when I was very young. and we rented it a ton, like back when you could rent games, from video stores, until they finally were like, "We're not paying to rent this anymore. We'll just buy it for you." And so I'm looking forward to this one. I will probably do the digital purchase on November 19th because I can't wait for it. But what about you guys? Bubble Bobble, is this on your radar?
I've tried playing the game and then not much of a fan of it. So I'll probably pass on this.
Same.
What?
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 No, it wasn't one that I have no nostalgia for it, so
Okay.
I didn't get into it when it was out. So
I learned something this week. I believe thanks to, it was thanks to a myriad of folks on our Discord. I learned that it is okay to say that a game is not for you. You don't have to say that it sucks. Unless it's Diddy Kong Racing. But now it's just going to come up every week now, folks. No, I'm serious. Like, I get it. Like, I think for me, the Bubble Bobble thing, honestly, is that I just had nostalgia for it, right? Yeah. But I've played there's a kind of a universe, I guess, that the game is set in, because there was also a game that was kind of in the same vein for NES called Rainbow Islands, where instead of shooting bubbles, your characters produced rainbows that they used to kill enemies by dropping them on them, but as well as you had to use them to climb from platform to platform.
So and then like Green Lanterns, but colorful.
On the TurboGrafx 16, there was a game called Parasol Stars that kind of borrowed from the Bubble Bobble universe as well. And all of those. Yeah, I love all those. So
that's cool.
I get it. If it's not for you, I think I fully believe this is not going to be a $60 title.
Right.
So I think you're probably going to be able to get into it pretty easy but I think this is one too that a demo goes a long way.
Yeah, and it's actually a game I haven't. I may have messed around with it once or twice, but it's not one I actively went out when I was younger to go buy, and it's not one that I think of today. So I'm not saying it sucks or that it's not for me.
And
it's just that I just never grabbed me, so I haven't tried to play it.
As Justin pointed out on our Twitter this week, why is Bubble Bobble not on the Nintendo Switch Online app yet? It's on the NES Classic.
See, I thought that Arcade Archive might have had an arcade version released, but they didn't even do that yet either. So,
it's interesting to me that all of the games that are on the NES Classic have not yet made their way over to Nintendo Switch Online. We'll get into that later, though. I think there's some talk that we're going to have about SNES and things like that, but we'll bring it back. So those are some games coming out we think that you need to be on the lookout for, as well as or a few of us, Justin and myself included, I don't know about the rest of you guys, are super hyped for Astral Chain. It looks amazing, and early reviews of it and early thoughts on it are coming out right now, and people are speaking very highly of it so far. But it is now available for preload on the Switch. If you are interested in that, I believe it's 9, almost 10 gigabytes for preload, but you can go ahead and do that. I have mine pre-ordered through GameStop. And so, which was the first time I've been in GameStop in like 5 months, was to go ahead and get Fire Emblem and Astral Chain. And I wanted them physical in case I hate them, and then I will trade them back in and get money.
Good call. Good call.
I think tomorrow
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I don't know. This may not be news, but it's something I think that we should talk about here since we're talking about GameStop, is that GameStop is offering $225 right now for the Switch. It's a base price of $200, but if you're a Elite Club member or Pro member, you get an extra $25. Or maybe it's just a deal. if you're trading it in.
I think it's just a deal at this point. I don't think you have
Yeah,
to
so you get an extra
it.
$25. So a lot of people, what they're doing is they're going in and they're trading in their old model Switch for the new model Switch.
For $75 plus the taxes.
Yeah, $75.
We had one of our own patrons do that too.
Yeah, and so I'm going to go in tomorrow, I think, and ask them about the possibility of doing a system transfer in store.
I think,
and if they will let me do that,
I've heard that stores will let you do that as long as you have a source of Wi-Fi.
Yeah, if they'll let me do that, then I'm all on this. I'm gonna get it. Hopefully the Joy-Cons are better.
Shellshock Prime says he did a system transfer in store.
How long did it take?
We'll see if he answers.
That's what I want to know, because like I've got a 400 gigabyte SD card.
He says 20 minutes.
Oh, well then he probably does. Like I have.
Yeah, I would imagine it would take you a while longer. Though most of the data would just be copied to the SD card, and then actually it probably wouldn't have to copy too much because most of it's already on the SD card. So yeah,
it's just save files.
Let us know how long that takes.
That's why I'm very hesitant.
He says you still have to re-download all the games, but all your save data will be preserved.
Okay, but I'm worried about Splatoon and Pokemon Let's Go. That's the two that I'm worried about.
Yeah, doing a profile transfer should copy those over.
Okay.
Because that's not relying on the cloud.
It still makes me a little wary, even though I know it probably would be just fine. But this has me worried. That's all.
I'm tempted, but I'm probably gonna wait. Even though I might not get the full 225, I'll probably wait just to see if there's a bundle or a new, what you call it first before.
I like it. Joy-Con color. New color, new little promo there.
Yes.
I really wish they would do the Tsum Tsum one over here because my daughter wants a Switch. But
yeah.
I think we talked her out. I think we talked her out of a Switch completely the other day. So
you need to talk to Pear. He's going to Japan. He's getting one for his daughter. So you need to talk to him and see if he'll get you one.
Yeah, just pick me one up, man. Fill in your tab.
So I pre-ordered the purple-orange Joy-Con. So because of that, I'm probably just going to stick with my Switch and not worry about any trades. If I didn't do that, then I'd be thinking about doing that trade-in too. But I'll just squat on mine and wait.
I like how Tim was like, he's going to Japan to get one for his daughter. Like he's not bringing two of them back so that he can have the Joy-Cons as well.
Yeah. Probably will be.
Just
Pear. You were talking about Pear here,
He's probably got the money.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Shellshock says that we need to make you custom Mega Man Joy-Cons in a Pro Controller.
I would love that. And I actually had a link to some not long ago, and they were like $200 and something, and I just can't afford it. Yeah.
That was like
it's kind of like somebody after last week's show, somebody linked me, it was Ebucel, linked me to a more Pico plush. That's $325.
Oh.
It's reversible, but it's handmade. But it's $325. And I'm out there, somebody is out there smoking crack and thinking that somebody's going to buy a $352 or $25 more Pico plush.
I bet you people already did.
Look, Tim is right. People probably have already done it.
And
anyway,
surprised it hasn't been C&D'd yet.
Just like there's already 2,000 people who bought Unicron.
The Nintendo dads, Surgeon General's warning: do not buy a $300 and $25 plush that's the size of your shoe or less. No matter how cool it is, don't do that. Save that money. Buy milk and bread and other things your family need. Ran over. All right. Pokemon Masters is coming out soon. It's the newest Pokemon app for mobile devices. And it, as of this recording, has over 5 million pre-registrations worldwide. It is like, I have no clue what this game is.
I'm too.
When they announced it back at the 4 like Pokemon Day or whatever they did, where they talked about Pokemon Home and all that stuff, that it's basically collecting the most famous, well-known gym leaders and single characters throughout the the series and bringing them together.
Doesn't that sound exciting?
Then you battle them, and then you group them together in teams of 3 and battle them against other teams of 3.
Oh, okay. Do they fight or they're Pokemon fights?
They're Pokemon fights. But yeah.
Could they not just have a game where you fight? That doesn't make much sense.
Because they want to get a gotcha system in there.
Oh yeah. I mean, they gotta get it where you could spend real money on a digital skin,
which means it probably won't be available in Belgium because we've talked about that in the past.
Yeah, and it also means that Nintendo will have to produce the percentage rates on those as well, starting very soon.
They did for Mario, the Dr. Mario world, so they've done it before, so I'm sure that they'll have no problem doing it again.
You know what really sucks about Dr. Mario World is my wife has Dr. Waluigi and I don't. Yeah.
I tried playing that game again after like a 3-week break, and like, okay, this game isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, I'm on stage 127.
Yeah, I got to 170 and nope.
It's more of a slog than anything. Like, I get it, it's fun. I think the presentation is done well, but there's some missteps that they make that I really wish that they would correct. But they're not going to, because it would cost them money.
Well,
it would cause them not to make money.
The game wasn't necessarily made for us, because
I know that.
It was made because I don't think they made it for
it's made
you
for
guys
people who are
like
willing to dump money into it.
Yeah. Well, and also who aren't going to go through and go probably as far as you guys did in the time you did.
True. You're right. So if you still haven't registered for Pokemon Masters, you still have time to pre-register. No word yet on when the app is going to be out, but maybe soon. Who knows? Speaking of 5 million, I also wanted to throw this in here that over 5 million courses have now been uploaded in Super Mario Maker 2 in the span of just over a month and a half.
I tried to find numbers to see how many Mario Maker 1 levels were made, and I couldn't find anything. So I was wondering how they would compare over 4 years of Mario Maker 1 versus 2 months of Mario Maker 2.
That's a good question.
That's and think about it. It's going to have a much longer tail on it, right? Than Mario Maker on the Wii U.
Yeah, we haven't heard of units sold yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if it hasn't already. It definitely will outsell the original, just like every other game that's been on both systems has.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it was what 2.4 million in the first month, right?
I don't remember the numbers.
We talked about it before. It was either 2.4 or 2.1. It was over 2. We talked about it a couple weeks on the show. So, I mean, it's Mario Maker. It's still there, which means there's 4 million crap levels and 1 million probably worth playing.
I think you're being generous.
I haven't done it much, but I heard that it's actually, isn't it curated a lot better than the first game?
I think so. As somebody who's still playing it like on a every other day basis, at least, I think it is.
Cool.
I think they're doing a great job with it. There's still some things I'd like to see, especially like the other day. We wanted to just play some levels together at home, like me and my wife and my son, and you can't do that. You can't even do that through like, you can't just hop in and have 3 Joy-Cons connect and go play some levels on the internet. Well,
that's
like
they said they were going to fix that, right? That was the whole
they
thing.
are, but like, it's okay. They knew that was like the number one thing that people wanted fixed, right? And so I'm kind of hoping that they would be on that immediately. I know that sounds very entitled. We're just a month out, but it's still like we went in to play and we were going to have a good time. It was like, why can I not play together? Why can we not play together? Oh yeah, that's because their internet sucks. The way they implemented this sucks.
Yeah. Well, maybe you never know. Maybe they'll drop it at the next direct. Say, hey, here's your update.
What I'm hoping that they do is drop it in Mario 2 at the same time, in other styles.
Oh yes,
right?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes,
At Mario 2 at the same time. Fire Emblem Three Houses has come up quite a bit on the show lately, as well as other Nintendo shows. Lots of people are talking about it. It's one of the best games that Nintendo has released for the Switch this year, and it has made me a yay-sayer from a naysayer.
And I've actually been thinking about getting this too, but I just have so much other stuff in the
we were talking about before the show
and future purchases, so it's still on the back burner.
And that's the thing is, like, the Switch is so loaded right now. Even if you're playing, like, if you're playing role-playing games, if you're playing RPGs, you know, with Final Fantasy 7 and 9 and 10 and 10-2, and didn't 12 come out as well?
Yeah, and I didn't buy any of them.
Yeah, so there's 5 huge games right there. Grandia's coming out. The Grandia collection's coming out soon. It's going to be $40.
That I am getting them. That comes out tomorrow.
And
well, this is why I'm not getting Astral Chain, because I'm playing Fire Emblem.
Right.
And I want to finish Fire Emblem. So I'm not going to get another big game until I'm done with Fire Emblem.
And that's probably what I should do too, but I can't help it.
Oh, you got yours pre-ordered already.
Well, I had enough money from trading in games to get Fire Emblem and Astral Chain.
Yeah, I probably would have done the same thing. So,
and that, it was kind of a win-win, because both those games were ones I'm not sure about, and so if it's not something I like, I'll just trade it back in and get some and recoup some of it. But Fire Emblem Three Houses. Not only is it extremely popular, it's also the fastest selling Fire Emblem game in the United States ever. That has been announced this week. But to kind of break down those numbers, Fire Emblem Awakening still has more lifetime sales than Three Houses, but it's expected that that number will rise higher than Awakening. Awakening sold 2.1 million units here in the United States. It's probably the most popular.
No, the 2.1 million is worldwide.
Is worldwide. Okay. Yeah. All right. It's probably the most popular Fire Emblem, I think, probably because of Chrom and Lucina and their inclusion in Smash.
Awakening?
Yeah.
The most popular because I thought it was because
up until Three Houses.
Right. I thought Awakening was most popular because it was the most effort they put into that one, thinking it was going to be the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it came out and it surprised people.
Yeah. And people bought it too, probably because originally starting off probably were like, oh, this is going to be the last one, so I should buy it. If they knew that at that time, I don't know. But
I don't
think they made that public. I think that was just internal.
Yeah, that was a later thing. Okay.
Yeah.
At this time, we don't know how many units Fire Emblem Three Houses has sold, except that it's said to be triple the previous record holder, which was Fire Emblem Echoes, which was the launch month sales. But I can tell you this. The MPD sales figures for July 2019 have come out, and the number 2 selling game of the month was Fire Emblem Three Houses, and it was released with 5 days left in the month. The only game in July that beat it was Madden 20. So that should give you a ballpark, I think, of sales. Okay. Because behind that was Mario Maker. It was number 3.
Right.
So I'm going to guess that by the time they actually release numbers, you're looking at 2.5 for Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised. I think that'll be another 2 months before we hear anything, because it's normally about a month after the end of a quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, also included in these MPD sales figures here's some interesting data, and we'll close out our news section with this. Nintendo Switch was once again the best-selling system of the month for July 2019, as well as being named the best-selling system of 2019. Out of the top 20 games that were sold in July 2019, again, Fire Emblem was number 2, which was followed by Mario Maker. 7 of the top 20 games were Nintendo exclusives in this list. But there were also others in the list that were available on Nintendo systems are third-party games that are out there as well. You guys know what the top-selling video game of 2019 is?
I actually saw this article, but I don't remember
Mario
what it
Kart?
was.
Is it
It
Mario
is
Kart?
not. It is not Mario Kart. The best-selling game of 2019 is Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well,
Yeah.
that's because they were smart and they put it on the Switch.
Yeah. Well, the second one, I mean, everything else is the only one of these that is on the Switch. Besides that is Mortal Kombat 11, and Super Smash Ultimate comes in as it's still number 6 for the best selling of 2019.
Nice.
It's number 6 in the top 10. The best selling games in the last 12 months, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is number 4. Mortal Kombat is number 8. Those are the ones that appear on Switch. Well, NBA 2K19 also appears on the Switch, and it was number 3. But the best-selling game for July for Switch was Three Houses, followed by Mario Maker 2, followed by, and I was happy to see this, followed by Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. But after that, it's months and years old games. Number 4 was Smash. Number 5 was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Number 6 was Breath of the Wild. Number 7, Mario Brothers U Deluxe. 8, Super Mario Party. 9, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. And Super Mario Odyssey at 10. Pokemon, interestingly enough, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu not even charting in the top 10.
But Eevee is.
Interesting. Yeah, and there's still people out there still buying 3DS games as well.
A new 3DS game landed today. I don't remember what the title was, but it was on the release list.
Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are the best sellers for
doesn't surprise me.
The 3DS, followed by Mario Maker. You got a bunch of people who, you know.
Yep.
The also news, since you mentioned it, Jesse, on the eShop on 3DS, Square Cat. Maybe it's supposed to be Square Cat.
Probably.
Because the cat is a square, but it's spelled Squarcat. And here in the South, we pronounce that as squar. Like that door is kind of like a squar over there.
Yep.
So Square Cat.
Makes sense to me.
It is 84 cents.
Nice.
Big
Gonna
money.
go pick that
Tell
up.
you something about that game. Well, guys, that's our news for this week. Let's head into a little bit something we haven't had for a few weeks here, some rumors. All right, so rumors are swirling around. If you've been on Twitter or social media, any at all, about Super Nintendo games possibly coming to Nintendo Switch Online at the 1-year anniversary of the service, which will be next month in September. And where there's smoke, there's fire, because an FCC filing this week shows the back of a controller that looks like an SNES controller and actually has ZL and ZR buttons like the Joy-Con, and has a model number of HAC-042. You may say, Marty, why is that important? Well, here's why those numbers are important. Previous Nintendo Switch controllers also have started with HAC. The Joy-Cons are HAC-015 and -016, respectively. And the NES controllers are HAC-033 and HAC-034, respectively.
So I'm expecting to see a second one, either 41 or 43, depending on which way it is, because of the left and right and the orientation of where the ports are. They're technically different devices, so they have to have different names. That's why the left and right Joy-Cons are
What's
different.
interesting about this FCC filing, and you can go and see it, there's links that are out there, most Nintendo news sites have published photos, is that there's no rail on the SNES controller. Did you notice that?
I did not.
It's there. When I looked at it, you can tell there's an indentation at the top. where you.
Yeah, but see, that just looks like buttons to me.
Well, if there's no rail, then there wouldn't be a left and right side, and that's why I couldn't find a 41 or a
See,
43.
that's what I'm thinking, is that there's not
You think it'll
two of
just
them.
be USB-C charged?
I think it's going to be USB-C charged, and that's what that middle bump is.
Hmm.
And if that's the case, then I will most likely not be getting these like I did with the NES Online controllers, because I don't need another USB-C controller.
See,
I'll tell you why later on here in the show.
I still plan on getting it just because I think Super Nintendo controllers are probably one of my favorite controllers to hold.
Oh yeah, they're great. But I've got the the SNES Classic.
Right, but you can't use that on the Switch.
I know, but what I'm saying is I've got that version already, so I don't know that.
I think
and you know,
I think there's an adapter that will let you use it
too.
But
everybody listening knows full well too that I'm going to say this. Like, I'm not getting that, and then like, you know, a week after they come out, I'm going to post a picture on my Twitter. It's like, look what I'm reviewing for Nintendo Dads. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, how likely do you guys? I want to discuss this with you. Like, do you think we're going to see Super Nintendo games? Because I don't. I do not think it's coming right now. I mean, this controller has made it pretty obvious that it probably is, but
yeah, I think it's coming. You know, next month, September, 1 year anniversary of NSO. I think it'll happen next month.
Okay. You think it's going to be that obvious?
I think they have to. Do you want to renew? If you have to renew, you have to, you know, I think they have to sell it. So to renew the subscription. So what better way to get everybody to renew their 1 year or their membership, especially for the 1 year people, than to say, hey, we're going to do SNES games next.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing is those who got family plans. They're probably going to want to keep them as family plans instead of having them converted into single plans. Because they've given away multiple ways of having free or discounted memberships on singles, but not compatible with families.
Right.
But since I'm still paying basically for 4 accounts, I'm still going to stick with the family plan, but it's getting less and less convenient.
So, do you think that it's going to be more expensive?
I don't
for Super Nintendo games, or do you think they're going to keep it at $20?
People in the chat have said that that's a rumor. That's a rumor going around is that they're going to bump the price up. I don't think they will. I think they're going to keep it where they're at.
I think they have to keep it where it's at because there's been so much negativity about Nintendo Switch Online, especially in the last few months. And look, I want to say this. The games that are coming out this month, we're getting Kung Fu Heroes and what was the other one? That's bad that I should know. Kung Fu Heroes and
I'll have to open up last week's notes to find out.
I've got it Googled right here. Kung Fu Heroes and Vice Project Doom, which I'm super excited about because neither of these games have been virtual console games. But when this was announced, and the last few months it's been announced, the online community's belly aching about Nintendo Switch Online's terrible. What are the good games? Well, number one, they've given you a lot of the good games already. Number two, you sound like the most entitled first world problem people that there is.
Truth.
And look, I know that I'm right there with you. When we started getting 2 games a month, I was like, why are we getting 2 games a month? We're paying for 3 games a month. Well, you know, stepping back from that, I had to realize that we never were promised 3 games a month. We were promised games each month.
Right.
And
it just felt off because Japan was getting extra benefit than us.
Yes. And here's the thing. Like, if you think about it, a lot of the iconic games that you remember on the NES, they're already on there, and you're not playing them. And that's what people say, I don't ever play this. Well,
I never went back to play Zelda 2, and I wanted to. I wanted to play the Famicom version because it's simple. It's actually, I think ends up being the easier version. The way they have the the RPG elements, and especially now with the rewind. I'm using air quotes because it's kind of not, but it kind of is feature.
It's nice to have that.
Yeah.
I might actually be able to beat it now. I've never been able to beat Zelda 2 without a Game Genie. It's a hard game. But here's the thing, like everybody that is complaining about NES Online, how long is it going to be before they're complaining about SNES Online? Right?
3 months.
Yeah, 3 months. As soon as they crank out Mario Kart, Super Metroid, Mario World, and Mario All-Stars, and when you realize you're not getting the NES, a lot of nostalgia surrounds it, not just for Nintendo games, but for actual third-party games that made those systems iconic, right? And when you realize that you're not going to get that stuff, and you realize that a lot of third parties, if they're going to play ball with releasing their old catalog, they're going to do it in legacy collections like Mega Man and Castlevania and Contra. Right. Sorry,
which I would rather have.
Yeah, and technically, now that we've gotten those three, I would rather have those two. If it's in a package like what I wish they would do instead of this NES Online or SNES Online is do a package like the Sega Genesis collection and collect a bunch of games together and put them out that way. And they would do several of those, because there's some Sega CD games that I would really like to have on the Switch.
Yeah. Well, they can come out with a collection of those too. And
yeah,
for me, for the online, Nintendo Online, I'm paying for the ability for me and my family to play these games online. And then, a bonus, I got NES games if I want to go play them.
What people are so quick to forget, I think, is how much they paid per month in the beginning for Xbox Live so that they could play basically Halo online. And that was it, right?
Well, you got to remember, too, that some of these people probably weren't doing the Microsoft thing, though. So this is probably new for a lot of Nintendo people.
But what I'm saying is the people who complain or people who are dissatisfied with it, they don't remember, you were paying $15 a month. So basically you could play a handful of games. And nobody was giving you out any freebies. Yeah. Nobody was giving you out any stuff. Nobody was sweetening the pot with games with gold and PlayStation Plus and all that stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of that, my PlayStation Plus expired for the first time in 10 to 12 years. And I'm probably not going to reissue because I very rarely use it. Man.
I don't use it, so I just said
my son used it more than me. He doesn't live here anymore.
Right.
That when if he ever gets his own PS4, he can get his own PS Plus.
But speaking of PlayStation Plus, is for those people like Marty, what you were saying for Xbox people who are paying for the Halo online experience, and then where they are today, and then other people who are paying for PlayStation Plus and where they saw that go today. If they have a Switch and they're paying the $20 and they are complaining, it's because well, let me put it this way, instead of me speaking for everybody else, because I don't know what everybody else is. Let me say it from my perspective. From my perspective, yes, $20 a year, great. I'm getting online. There are some things they need to improve before I'm going to spend, if they're going to come back to me and say $25 or $30 just for me to renew and get SNES. If they do that, not saying they are, just saying if the rumors are true, they have to still prove to me that this is a capable online infrastructure first. And what frustrates me as a user of other infrastructures is those other infrastructures have existed for a while and Nintendo hasn't learned a damn thing or anything, from those other companies' experiences.
No, I mean they're Mario Maker's online proves that. Right. I mean it's a mess.
Or
it's gotten hopefully it's going to get better. But
Smash peer-to-peer.
Smash. The thing is I've not had a whole lot of problems with Smash.
No, I haven't either. It's just I guess maybe it's lack of knowledge on my part too. Just hearing people complain about it, maybe they have lack of knowledge too. That I just learned the other day that fighting games are typically peer to peer rather than the other way. So
I think that part of it, what it comes down to, Tim, though, is like to go back to what you're saying, is there's kind of a ground level understanding of what an online experience should be among gamers.
yes,
And that there should be some basic features that are offered no matter what platform you're on. It should be the ability to play with your friends, message your friends, and talk to your friends.
you
And
should be at this level, and then you add on your Nintendo services to make it Nintendo.
right, right. Let me message my friends. Let me talk to my friends. Let me play with my friends. That's on any platform, right? And that's, for the most part, is not happening. There's just some bizarre choices out there, and we saw some of that this evening when we played Splatoon 2 with some of the community. You know, and we used the much maligned Nintendo Switch Online app, and to communicate, which we usually use Discord when we play, but this you wanted to test it out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it kept kicking me out of the chat. Like every time we would leave a match, I'd have to rejoin the chat. That's unacceptable.
Right.
Like at this point,
it should all be figured out.
2 years in, we got 25 million user install base. Let's flip the switch, pun not intended, on some more professional looking online, more professional functioning online. That's really, honestly, I love the idea of Super Nintendo games because it's one of my favorite systems of all time. But
Same
I
here.
would much rather Nintendo concentrate on two areas: make online better, and for the love of all that's good and holy, do something about the user interface of everything on the Switch. It's time.
Yep. And even still, if they were to come and announce all that plus SNES, for me, don't tell me it's $5 or $10 more just because you're doing all this. First, prove it to me first that that you're doing these things that work, and then do the Netflix thing and say, okay, now it's instead of $20, now it's $24.99 or whatever.
We were here holiday season 2017 expecting a UI update, and that's never happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just to give people warning,
folders.
Those. So I signed up for the family membership on day one, and it says that the deadline to turn off automatic renewal if I don't want to continue is October 1st. So apparently,
when did it come out?
It came out September 19th. So I don't know if they had 2 weeks of padding in there or what, but I was surprised to see it was October. I was expecting something in September.
Yeah,
but,
or the end of August.
So it sounds like, or they, maybe I did something that expanded to a few weeks. Anyway, so just so you can check in the Nintendo Switch Online section of eShop to see when any automatic renewals will be triggered, and if you don't want to renew, you have until that date to disable it.
Yeah. And here's the deal: I don't think we're being unfair here at all. I don't think anybody who at this point who is a little bit critical of this is being unfair. They've mostly just let it sit for 2 years with no upgrades, and so it's time for us to see a little bit more. Maybe that's coming along with the Switch Lite. Who knows? But I would rather see those things. But everybody knows that the number one issue, right, is the blue circle around the home button. I mean, come on.
Yes.
I completely forgot that was an LED.
Yep.
Yes.
And you know what's funny is, and I'm going to talk about this controller a little bit later, but I picked up a 8-bit do SN30 Pro Plus this week, and it has a transparent circle around the home button. So they're preparing for the future on this, right?
That's so. I heard a rumor a few weeks ago that the next major menu update will finally enable that.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I would also like to just be able to send simple text messages to my friends. like on the actual system. Like, hey, want to play
Like
blank?
every other system.
Like every other system. Come on. Again, shared bedrock features that we all expect, but we don't have. Let's move on from this and let's talk about an event or two, shall we? All right, so just a couple of Pokemon Go events we want to make you aware of, as usual. Suicune Raid Day is Saturday, August 17th. That's this weekend from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. local time. You can get up to 5 raid passes at no cost during the event, and if you're lucky, you might encounter a shiny Suicune. Also, Water Festival 2019 is going on starting August 23rd at 1 p.m. Pacific through August 30th at 1 p.m. Pacific. This means that water-type Pokemon like Magikarp, Wooper, Wailmer, and more will appear more frequently in the wild. The following Pokemon will appear more frequently in the wild around water. That is Wartortle, Poliwhirl, Seaking, Lapras, Quillfish, Mantine, Lotad, Phoebus, Piplup, Buizel, and Finneon. Jesse, you're just making some of these names up.
I am not. Though one of these days I should, just to see if you catch it.
I'm just going to read
hilarious.
it because I'm just going to read it. Water-type Pokemon will also hatch more often from eggs, and there'll be a Carvana and Barboach will have chances to be shiny. That's our events. Go out and play some Pokemon Go, you filthy heathens. Get out of your house. All right? Let's talk about what we've been playing. Jesse, we're going to start with you this week.
Yeah, I've actually got a small list.
Yeah, you got quite
games.
a bit. And one of them that I knew as soon as I saw the name of this game, I was like, Waldak's going to have that.
Yeah, I was actually on the fence on that one, but I figured I'd dive in.
All right.
Anyway,
So
I'll start with.
What you been playing?
I'll start with I was in a Dragon Quest mood, and I actually found my old Game Boy Color carts for Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3, and I was thinking.
And that was awesome.
I'm still thinking about playing that later, but it'll probably be after 11. But what I decided to do instead is fire up Dragon Quest Heroes on my PS4. I put like 4 hours into that when it was new, October 2015, and never got back to it. So I'm not quite as far yet. I think I'm 3 hours in, but I'm having fun with it. So I imagine I'll be continuing with that while I can. Super One More Jump is our monthly Mayhem game for this month, and I'm probably already tapped out. So I submitted my score. I did increase my score for the endless mode, but considering the endless mode is the tiebreaker, it's meaningless for me to upgrade my score, because I finished 2 worlds, so 24 levels complete with 23 crowns, because I didn't get 2 gems in 1 world. So if you're confused about what I'm saying, check out the YouTube video explaining the scoring for Super One More Jump. I finally got around to playing Soul Seraph, which was the game I was planning on playing, but then I got the Dragon Quest Builders review code, and ouch, that game is rough. I was very disappointed in it.
Aww.
Whoa.
What?
Someone's got a hot mic.
Do I?
Yeah. It just ramped up in volume out of nowhere. All right. So anyway, just like ActRaiser, it starts off in a battle sequence, and it kind of teaches you the moves you can do. Swords, jumps, arrows. It doesn't tell you that your arrow is limited, because I ended up running out of arrows trying to keep away from a boss, and then I realized, oh crap, I need to save the arrows. Anyway, then when you beat that, and then you get to the god mode, and it's basically a glorified tower defense game, which I'm not a fan of. Never, not a fan of that genre. I ended up messing up the arranging of where my towers go, and so like an hour in, I had to scrap it and start completely over. I was able to get to the end of that section to get to the end of Area 1, which is another action sequence, and I can't clear it. Because
so as a fan of ActRaiser, and not so much a fan of ActRaiser 2 because they stripped out the sim element, would you recommend it? Because I have been hoping for a revival of this type of game for a while.
if you like the action sequence more than the God mode, I'd say give it a try. If you liked ActRaiser because of the God mode, then no, you won't like. Unless you are.
That's kind of what I'm worried about. Is that like when I hear tower defense, like I'm okay with that, but
Yeah,
I just don't know.
If I knew in advance that it was tower defense as opposed to what more like ActRaiser was, I probably would be more prepared. But I wasn't prepared for that. So if you like tower defense, I also give it a try. But again, the combat controls are kind of squishy, and
That's
it like it says double jump to make this jump, but I still can't make the double jump because I'm smack against the ledge. I had to back step a few times to do a running jump to get a little bit more vertical to get that second jump to high enough to clear it. They don't tell us that. I had to figure that one out on my own. So it's overall, not very clean. And I remember Jim Sterling did a video on the game, and he pretty much said the same thing I said. And I tried to forget what he told me and tried to like it on his own merits, and I couldn't find any. I ended up agreeing with what he said after all. I then tried Chef, which Tim tried about a month ago. It sounds like I got a little bit past where he went, but I think I'm at a stuck point in that too, and I'm only like on the 5th or 6th kitchen. I'm building out my kitchen the way I think it should be built, and I end up going over budget. So I have to find a way to go under budget, which means I'm taking additional shortcuts, and I screw something else up. And so I haven't found the balance. I don't know if it ends up being like one correct solution that really, if you don't do that, then everything else, you sacrifice something, or if it really is has a little bit of play in it. I haven't seen it yet. And again, I based on everything else I've seen, I think I'm still really early in the game because it hasn't gotten into needing to worry about bacteria growing due to raw chicken or stuff like that. Like I saw statistics about that, but I haven't dealt with that in the game. So I imagine I'm still really early, and I'm already stuck. So yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, puzzle games are iffy for me. Things and as I like the Picrosses, but other types of puzzle games not as much. So
I thought I saw something in there too because I haven't gotten that far either. But I thought I saw something where it would have if that then this type programming to it. But I haven't gotten to that part
I don't
yet
think.
either.
Yeah, I don't think I've gotten that far. The furthest I've gotten was a device called a splitter, which I think I needed to use in the level that I'm currently on, because I need cheese for 2 different recipes. So I have, and instead of having 2 things output cheese, I need 1 thing to output cheese, then have the splitter evenly divide between the 2.
Okay, gotcha.
Then you have to worry about storage and food not rotting if you're making food in advance, and
that doesn't sound like a game to me. It sounds like a job.
Sounds like work.
Yeah, right. That marks that game off my list completely.
Well, speaking of jobs, I'll get to that game in a minute. But so last week I talked a little bit about PictoQuest. I played like the first hour-ish before showtime. I ended up finishing it. I liked it. Definitely was a shorter game. It had 120 puzzles in it versus like the other previous Picross game had over 500. But So I think I finished this in about 10 hours, where the other one was about 35. But what is a what's a plus on this one is they had a higher number of larger puzzles. So out of the 120, probably 20 of them were 20 by 20. Where in Nazarick, the largest puzzle was 20 by 15, and there was, again, only about 20, I think 27, 30-ish, including the clip Picrosses. You know, will probably as much as 50. So, 10% or less were the larger puzzles, as opposed to this one had a higher percentage. So again, I ended up making 2 videos and never released it. It's probably already too late, and no one really watches my puzzle videos anyway. So, but I basically said, if you like Picross games, try them both. If you have to choose between one or the other, if you want more easier puzzles, go with Nazarick. If you want more complicated puzzles, go with the PictoQuest.
Makes sense.
Okay. And then, speaking of a job, I picked up PC Building Simulator. Is this the game you were referring to, Marty?
This is exactly the game I was referring to. I was like, you do this in real life. Now you're just gonna play it on the Switch.
Yeah, apparently this was a Steam game earlier in the year on PC, and then so it's now out for Switch.
Started as a tech demo, and then they realized they can make money off of it.
So it basically is, you are basically inherited your uncle's old PC shop that has no money in the bank, bills upcoming. In fact, you start out minus 15 because he took $15 out of your zero balance for gas when he left. So the first day,
I like this game already.
Everything is run by email. So you go to your work computer, log in to check the email, and the day one is, I dropped off a computer. I think I have a virus. Can you get it working again? And so basically, you pick it up, bring it to your work desk. Then you have to plug in power cable, video cable, mouse, keyboard. You do that one at a time. And then you plug in a USB stick to install antivirus, boot up the computer, install the antivirus, run antivirus, and then I don't know if I'm supposed to or not, but I've always uninstalled the program I installed, leaving I think that would be, I don't leave a program behind. So I'll find out later if I'll get penalized for that or not. Anyway, then so I get $100 to do that for no parts costs, just out of labor. So now I have a balance. So I leave day 2. I have nothing to do, but 3 emails come in saying I'm going to drop off my computer tomorrow, and one is I just need it cleaned. The other is I want a hard drive added, and the other one is my video card's busted. I need a new video card. So you go to your vendor's website, your wholesaler, you buy a video card, you buy a hard drive. I think I'm supposed to buy a power cable for the hard drive, but I didn't. So I might have to wait a day for that to come in. I have to figure out. I'm still working on that part. So all you do is buy the parts. Now you're in debt again, but the game lets you go in debt up to $1,000. End day 2, start day 3, and now you do the repair on these 3 machines, and then you'll get paid at the end of the day when you're done, and hopefully I've made a profit. I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm still in the middle of repairing them. But it's really, really little. It's not a pleasant process to open up a computer in this game, just as it would be in real life, because you literally have to unscrew all the screws that keeps the side plate panel in place, take off the side panel, take off more screws, take off the other side panel, get your canned air, dust it all over the place. So it's like doing what you'd really be doing if you were doing this. So I'll give it credit for that.
It kind of sounds like my reaction when my son told me that he wanted to get a PSVR so that he could play Job Simulator. And I was like, why would anybody want to play this game? Like, I work enough in my life. You know, if
because of the humor.
I couldn't imagine like somebody who worked on computers for a living, like being like, man, I just can't wait to get home and play some PC Builder Simulator. But apparently there's apparently there's a audience for it, and yeah.
Well, it kind of goes with that Facebook creator one. I forget what it was called, but the one that we had my daughter play a few months back, where it was like, become a
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, that's right. Not Facebook. YouTube.
Life of a YouTuber or something like that.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, where it was like she wanted to play because she's not on YouTube creating content, right? So, but when I was watching her play it, it was like very interesting how you would have to take these pieces and put them together, put a video together, and then publish it, and then try to get people to watch you. I was like, hey, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh no, I got yeah.
So the game gives you a checklist of things you're supposed to be doing, but it doesn't drill down the little pieces of what that means. So if you don't know how to maintain a PC, it might be a challenge. Like I said, I think I need to get a power supply for the new hard drive I'm putting in. So, which means I won't be able to finish this order today. I'll have to wait till the next day. But I still have 2 other computers to look at that I can finish up today.
Get back to work, Jesse.
Right. Anyway, so I don't know if I'm going to have enough fun with it that I'll actually play through it, but I'm having fun so far.
And that's what matters, right?
Yeah. In fact, when I gave my son one of my old PCs, the first thing I told him was, this needs to be dusted out. And I showed him what I do to dust it out so he can do it on his own. He did not look impressed.
Yep. Something to take care of. Speaking of which, I have to do that.
Yeah, so Tim, what have you been playing?
I've actually played a lot more than when I started writing it down. I was like, wow, I actually played a lot since the last episode. I've played Ultimate Marvel Alliance online multiplayer with Justin on Twitch, which was a lot of fun. Got to experience that and see what that was like. I learned it's hard to play multiplayer while listening to somebody through Twitch because of the lag.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah. So I had to totally ignore that in order to focus on the present time rather than what was going on in the past.
Did it work fairly well for you to play online?
Yeah, it was jumping through trying to figure out some of the choices. Like I couldn't figure out how to change my character in the game. I kept having to be Gamora, and I think as I read more about it, I think it was something I had to do at the beginning before jumping in. So
were you playing single Joy-Con or?
No, it was. I was playing on my Switch just like I would, on a single player game with.
And it wasn't letting you just press one of the directional buttons and switch characters?
Nope. It was when he was in there, and it wouldn't let me go switch characters, and I didn't know if it was because he had to allow me to do that in his window because he was the host, or if it was something I had to do before I got to that part of the game. So there's some things I'm still trying to learn. There's a learning curve there for trying to figure it out. We were just both kind of learning on the fly to do the online portion, but it was still fun once we got going. And I didn't mind playing Gamora because I like her as a character. She's kind of like my style of play. Then after that, I got to play Minecraft with Zach. He set up a Nintendo Dad's Realm, and you play in survival mode. And I jumped in there and didn't know that, and I saw all the hearts on the screen, and I was like, "Oh crap, this is survival mode!" And it was dark outside in Minecraft. So I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I hear the zombies coming out after me. I was like, "Oh crap!" So I'm trying to run away. Then sometimes if you play Minecraft, you can see names in the distance. I saw Zach's name, so I ran up to where he was, and
Save
he was
me.
like a superhero. He had a shield, he had a sword, he had everything, and he like came and took out the zombies for me. And then he kind of, we didn't have any way to communicate other than just hopping up and down or whatever. But he kind of helped me out, and he gave me a couple weapons, and we went down and did some mining, and he was showing me some of the zombies that were spawning that you could kill and stuff. And it was my first time actually playing a full blown survival mode Minecraft. Usually when I'm playing with my kids, it's in creative mode. So that was pretty fun, especially that playing around in a Nintendo Dad's realm that we created. That I guess we got a trial version of right now. So if enough people in our Patreon who access the Nintendo Dad's realm in Minecraft, if they're into it, we try to look at keeping it. But if not, then we'll have to give that up. But that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. Hopefully, I can find some more time to learn that some more, and hopefully not kill Zach in the process. And then, of course, the monthly Mayhem game, One More Jump. Only, I was playing that pretty much the first night, I guess, when it was first announced. I wanted to try to get my scores in for that. And I thought I was doing pretty good until everybody else trounced me with their scores.
Yeah, people are saying that they I beat so-and-so level. It only took me 370 deaths. We're like, oh,
yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. The endless mode was pretty interesting. I definitely want to keep trying that, but I know
I
that's
thought I
the
had
tie.
it for a while, and then
Yeah.
oh
I want
no,
to keep trying that. But it's what was it?
Yeah,
The
when they start giving you
mole?
like the ledges that are less than a centimeter long, then
Yeah. It
you
gets
have
tough.
10 pixels to make that jump. Good luck.
yeah,
Yeah, somebody came in, or maybe it was Drew or Mole or Zablanc. I don't remember which one who came in, but has the top score right now with like 200 something streak or whatever. But yeah, I might jump back into that. It's a good one to jump
I
back
think I
into,
got my
especially.
streak up to like 160 for
I was
endless.
202, and I was so proud.
Yes, I was
And
just proud
then
of the 130 something I had. I think it was, but it's fun. I like it. I like
I think
what this
most
monthly mayhem
most of
game
my
is.
attempts have been in the 80ish range. So yeah, my 160 is double my normal. So
It between that and Marvel Ultimate Alliance, it's or Ultimate Marvel Alliance, whatever it is. Um, between those two games, those two games are a good break from Fire Emblem, which I know we'll talk about more in depth next week, and especially I'm going to be playing more because Marty gave me some hints during the pre-show, so I'm going to be trying to utilize some of those when I play some more, and we'll talk about those more next week. And then tonight's community play through Splatoon 2 was a lot of fun. So I asked the community if we could play specifically private battle with using Splatfest with the new 5.0 Splatfest functionality. And we had, thankfully, enough people show up and made it fun. We had 4-on-4, and I took some screenshots. So I'm looking forward to utilizing what I learned for hopefully a future event, and more on that to come soon. So that was a lot of fun. So that's what I've been playing.
awesome. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Jesse. So I've been like these guys are like Tim. I've been playing Fire Emblem Three Houses, and like I said at the beginning of the show, or I think it was during pre-show actually, that like I can finally fully say that like I love this game. Like I'm very excited about it. I am I'm in. I've kind of bought in, and I'm okay with it, and I'm definitely looking forward to continuing there. I got to a story beat in chapter 5 or 6 this week that made my jaw drop. I was like, what? And so now I'm hooked. I'm in. I want to see what happens. So we'll talk some more about that on our next Fire Emblem exclusive show next week. And I've been playing Super One More Jump as well, and I'm enjoying it. I love the endless mode in that game because it's just something you can play and kind of, I hate to say mindlessly because that makes it sound like the game's not good, but like you can just jump into it and not think and not really have to, psych yourself up to play the game or whatever. So I'm really enjoying
You
that.
just kind of get into a groove.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so also this week I've been playing Mega Man 2, which I've been playing it on the Mega Man Legacy Collection there on the Switch. And that is probably my favorite video game of all time. And just sometimes when I've had a tough week or things aren't going good or whatever, like I kind of default to it and Super Mario 3. And so this week kind of became Mega Man 2. But one of the reasons that I really played it was that I picked up, as I mentioned earlier in the show, this 8-bit do SN30 Pro Plus controller. They've had the Pro out, but this is the brand new one, the Pro Plus, that has the handles on it instead of just having the body of the controller, like the little oval, like a Super Nintendo controller. And I wanted to play.
Looks like the Wii controller. I don't remember what they call it. The
Pro controller.
Wasn't the Pro controller? I don't remember. It was Classic Controller Pro. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that was it. And it feels a lot like that too. And so I really like that controller. This one feels great. Super responsive. They nailed the D-pad so far for me. I did get a question on Twitter earlier this week when I posted a picture of it of, have you played it with Street Fighter yet or fighting games? And I have not. And I'd hoped to do that by tonight, but I just didn't get a chance. But so far, so good. It's very responsive. The battery life on it's great. You can get it in one of three colors. There's black, there's Game Boy color, which is the kind that I got. And then there's also a Super Nintendo type color, although the buttons on it are not really the right color. Like they're shades of lavender, but I didn't find that they were the right color. What I find interesting on this is that the D-pad, the markings on it are actually the same markings that are on a Game Boy D-pad. So a lot of detail went into it. It's perfectly easy to sync to your Switch. You turn it on by holding down the Y button and the start button. The light starts flashing. You turn your Switch on, it syncs immediately. No convoluted, hoodoo voodoo behind the scenes like old 8-bit do controllers. This one is really good. It also has a capture button. It has a home button. It has both sets of ZL/ZR buttons. And I like here that the L and R buttons are they are almost Super Nintendo size, so they're very good. I love this controller. It's $50. It's out there in the wild now. You can find them on Amazon, everywhere else.
That black one's on my wish list.
Yeah. So that's it. That's what I've been playing. How about we take some questions and community spotlight stuff?
Yes.
So, weird situation this week, guys. We've got 8 voicemails. And we always talk about voicemails as if there's some mythological concept here at Nintendo Dads. But then somehow this week, there's 8 of them.
Like 5 of them came in within a 90-minute period.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this was some coordinated effort or not.
I'm not sure if it's shenanigans or whatever, but here's the thing.
Shenanigans.
We're going to play all of them. We're going to answer all of them. And then we've got questions over on Patreon as well. And so we want to get to your comments for the show. So, Jesse, why don't you cue up that first voicemail for us?
Okay. We also have an email from Mikey Burkett, too.
Oh, well. All right.
So, here's the first voicemail.
Hey, Nintendo Dads. This is Third Strongest Mole calling with a topic for this week's show. Fire Emblem Three Houses has made the New Game Plus look really appealing, with the game having essentially 3 different houses to pick from. I was just wondering if you usually go for New Game Plus or multiple endings with games like that, or if you find they're just not worth the time. Thanks.
That's a great question. New Game Plus has been around for a while. I remember New Game Plus being an option with Chrono Trigger back in the day, as well as several others. Um, I think for this game, um, as we think about this concept of the three houses, it actually makes the New Game Plus matter. And what I mean by that is that, in the past, it's just been you get to keep all your weapons, you get to keep all your gold, you get to keep all your levels, blah, 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 or you get to keep all your materials, and you go back to level one and you play through the game, right? To me, that's not very appealing. But the fact that I get to play through the game and I get to experience a different part of the story, yes, I'm okay with that. But other than that, I typically don't dive into New Game Plus. What about you guys?
No, I don't usually. I once I beat the main story, I'm usually done, unless something like Fire Emblem Three Houses. I plan on playing through and keeping going because I want to know the whole story, And there's very few games that I've done the whole New Game Plus on, and I guess it's probably for me it's a matter of, does it count as New Game Plus? It's like I think there's a couple Zelda games there was New Game Plus factors to, and I've done those. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, even some Mario games had some New Game Plus, where you beat the main story, but then there was some additional levels you could go and beat. So, I think
post-game content's a little different than New Game Plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I wasn't sure of. So.
Yeah, New Game Plus. When I think of New Game Plus, I'm thinking of you play the game again, but something carried over from your first playthrough, whether that is stats, levels, inventory.
Okay.
Like, I think the first time I've tried playing a New Game Plus with Chrono Trigger, because it has, 13 different endings?
Right.
And while I think you keep your inventory and your levels. And since you're pretty close to max level when you beat the game the first time, because it's designed for you to be, because basically the first time through you can't get any of the other alternate endings other than the first main ending because you just aren't strong enough yet. But with New Game Plus, you are. Like, you can go right to Lavos from the teleporting accident screen if you do the right things. You're soloing him. You have no party, but it's still doable. And that was a thunder. So hopefully I don't lose power.
Wow.
I think we've lost connection to YouTube, so we're not streaming to YouTube anymore. But I am still recording.
Okay, well, hopefully you don't do that. And if you do, then know that this has been episode 243 of Nintendo Dads. And we're very thankful for you to join us, and we'll answer the questions next time on the show. But we're going to keep going like the power's not going to go out. And so thanks for that question, Third Strongest Mole. Jesse, let's hear question number 2.
Hey, Dads, it's Drew. The runner-up of last month's Monthly Mayhem. No big deal. But I'll be coming back strong. I'll be jumping my way first place next month. But, enough about me. Question for you guys tonight I have is, all this debacle about racing games and whatnot last episode. I figured I'd throw the question out there of what is your personal favorite old-school racing game? There's a lot of good ones back in the day I can remember. You had some of those RC Pro-Am games or, your typical kart games or some combat cars, even Micro Machines, right? But my personal favorite was Rock and Roll Racing. I believe it was for the Super Nintendo. I believe it was also for Sega Genesis. What a fun and amazing game. So I'd like to see what you guys' thoughts are on your favorite. And, as far as the Donkey Kong and the whole Mega Man debate, I think the only way to solve this is to get Justin, get Marty, Donkey Kong versus Mega Man in a live Super Smash Brother feed that we can all watch and see who the true champ is. Great work, guys. Keep up the good work, and catch you on the Discord.
That sounds like an
I
extra
like
life
it.
event.
I like it. Yeah, last.
Uh-oh. Marty.
Uh-oh.
Marty's frozen. How'd you do that, Jesse? How did the storm freeze Marty?
And not you? So I don't think
And
it's
not me. Yeah. Okay, then. Well, I guess I'll keep talking while I can, I guess. But my game would be well, geez, I didn't even go that far back to SNES. I just went back to, I guess, PS1. I guess, would that be old enough? I like the Hot Pursuit games, the Need for Speed Hot Pursuit games for the PlayStation. I didn't play really any racing games that I can think of for the Super Nintendo when I had that I can think of. Now, if you want to count Atari, like I had 5200, I had pole position for that. So, but that I wouldn't count that as my favorite.
Yeah, it was a good game for its time, but very primitive. And I'm overall not a fan of racing genre, but I did like playing RC Pro-Am, and I got pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And I also liked auto racing for the Intellivision. That's really
There you
primitive.
go. Okay. Well, that wins for classic there.
Right. All right. So hopefully Marty gets back. We'll just jump into the third question, and hopefully he comes back.
Okay.
Hey Nintendo Dads, Nick here. In recent episodes, I've heard Marty talk about playing with his mom. Playing video games with his mom, and I have some of the greatest memories with Donkey Kong Country playing over Christmas with my mom. So I was just wondering if any of the other Nintendo dads have any cool stories about playing video games with their family members. Maybe like, that awesome game, Diddy Kong Racing or something like that. Hey, keep up the good work, and good talking to you. Bye.
Oh yeah, I've got all kinds of family memories for that one. It's I think I mentioned some of these even before in previous episodes, but one that I had with my dad was he loved Ace Combat for the PS1, and we used to have dog fights on that, and that was a lot of fun. And then my family, when I got back into Nintendo, was in the GameCube era. Although my stepson, he had a Nintendo 64. I didn't own one of those. My friends did, and I would just play GoldenEye with him or anything like that. But GameCube was our family's system that we got into, along with Game Boy SPs, so that we could link those up to the GameCube and play Four Swords and Crystal Chronicles. But also even the GameCube game Double Dash. Those were all our games that we used to love playing as a family of three at the time. It was before my daughter came into the picture, and then now my son. This was just my oldest and my wife and myself. So those are the family memories I have.
I didn't play games with my family much. I remember, like, again, we're going back to Intellivision days again. Like the first time my mom showed me the baseball game, she's had practice with it, so knew what she was doing, where I was still trying to figure it out. I think the score was like 160-1.
Wow. Yeah.
But I eventually did figure it out, and that never happened again.
Yeah.
And I think I might have told this story a long time ago on the show, but there was an Intellivision tournament that was a parent-child type of tournament. Most of them were they're 30, early 40 something fathers with their teenage boys, and we were like a 23, 25-year-old mom with me, like 10 years old, 12 years old. Yeah. Well, I guess She would have been like 28 if I'm 10. And it was, so that the first game was skiing. We ended up getting first place in one of the qualifying rounds, so we went to the next game, which was Astro Smash, which is a game we did own, so we were good at that, and ended up getting into the finals, which was bowling, a game that we've never played before, so we just got trounced. But still, it was a fun way to spend a day.
Yeah, I bet.
And we ended up winning like a little TV, like like a 9-inch TV, a new system, and a bunch of games for getting second place.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's and I remember Marty telling stories that I appreciated hearing when he talked about it. I'm not saying this would be his stories, but I remember hearing him talk about it, was his involvement with his kids with Nintendo Labo stuff, especially seeing when he would talk about seeing his daughter getting into the games, even though she wasn't a video game player. And of course, his son getting into the games and even sharing some of those videos that he used to do too. So I appreciated those from his family's perspective, and would love to hear him share it. Maybe he will when he gets back on.
Right.
So.
All right, we'll go into the voicemail number 4.
All right.
Hey, Dad, this is Hot Rodimus from the Discord channel, or you could also call me Jason from the Disney Guys Uncensored podcast.
Yes.
Being that I do a lot with Disney parks and Disney stuff on our podcast, I had a question for you. I'm sure at this point you've heard about the Nintendo-themed park that they're going to be opening up at Universal. And I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it. What rides do you think they should have put in that maybe they didn't? Or what do you think of some of the maybe Mario Kart ride, how that's going to play out? Just curious what you guys were thinking. By the way, if a wizard meets a Mario Kart in the forest, who wins? Later.
Was that a voice chat reference with the wizard, or is that something else? I'm confused.
The wizard kind of reminds me of an MVC thing too. So, but yeah. Go ahead. You go ahead, Jesse.
Well, I'm not really a theme park guy, so I
okay.
Not been following, and because ultimately I don't care. But I'm again, I'm glad it's out there. I'm sure like Andre is going to go nuts when this comes out.
Right.
He is a big theme park guy. Roger is going to love it.
Yeah.
But it's not for me.
All right. Yeah, for me, I haven't been following what they've been building because I've been kind of waiting. I guess I chose this one. I kind of did it even with the Disney Star Wars park. Didn't really follow it that closely because I kind of want to be surprised about it. Or if I do end up going, then I'll see what's there. But for the Nintendo themed one, if there is, he did mention the Super Mario Kart one. That makes sense. That would be pretty awesome if it's anything like I remember as a kid when I went to Disney World to the GM driving thing that they had at Epcot Center. If it's anything like that, but more, obviously Mario Kart inspired, then that would be pretty cool. But I was thinking that if there was some way they could make a themed ride where you were going through a Mario level, where somehow you kind of either maybe chase Mario down through the level, but through a kind of like a 3D way or something.
So like one of those 4D rides?
Yes.
You're not actually on the track, but you're in a theater that looks like you are?
Yes, yeah.
Kind of like the Shrek ride from Universal. I remember doing that when I was there.
Okay.
That was annoying.
Something like that. Something like that and then maybe you could, I don't know, it would have to be pretty elaborate, but I know they could do pretty cool things with some of these rides, but following along with Mario to get through a level and maybe you'd have to do some jumps or whatever, it would be quite interesting, I think. But other than that, I haven't really thought too deep into it either, so.
Yeah, Marty says that he lost internet and is rebooting and hopefully he can get back in. Okay, So
waiting for you, Marty.
Right. So for future reference, people who are putting in voicemails, I don't get your name unless you say it. So these next two, I have no idea who they are. Here's number 5.
Hey guys, I just wanted to pick your brains about music and or rhythm games. I don't think it's a topic I've heard very much on the show. We all unfortunately are aware of Justin's Just Dance skills. That will never be unburned from our minds. But how about the rest of you guys? Are there games in this genre that you like, or is it a genre you kind of avoid? I don't know. Yeah, I guess any thoughts? I was looking up in the e-store, and it looks like there's 56 games in this category. Me personally, I've played Voice, spelled V-O-E-Z, for like 30 hours. I love that game. But I haven't really expanded out too much into some of the other ones, so I was going to see if there was any recommendations you might have or any other thoughts. And also for Marty, I had a question, since he's interested in board games, if he had seen that the Kickstarter for Shovel Knight was up and if he had any interest in that. So thanks for all your hard work on the show, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Nice. I was trying to find the one game that I did a review on that was a rhythm type game, and I don't see it. But one that I really liked, and it's not on the Switch though, you have to go and play it on the DS, is the Elite Beat Agents. I actually played through that, beat that one a couple times, and I don't play too many music rhythm based games, but that one grabbed me and I had a lot of fun with that one. If only I could find that other game that I did a review on.
While you're looking, again, the rhythm games for me needs to have something unusually special, because in general I'm not a fan of the genre. I remember I tried, I think Game Freak I think had one, and I didn't like it, but I was able to know that based on the demo, so I didn't have to spend money to not know it, to know I don't like it. Anyway,
right.
But so games that I did end up liking, like I remember Guitar Hero 2 on back on PS2. I dug that, which then led into Rock Band and Rock Band 2 on the PS3. And then Theaterism Final Fantasy on 3DS. I played the hell out of that.
Oh yeah.
I bought the sequel, but I didn't get as far in that one. I don't know if it just was more of the same, but I just didn't need any more at that time.
Right.
But that was a fun game, especially if you like Final Fantasy music. I was hoping for them to branch out into other things, like a Dragon Quest or a Chrono Trigger or something, but they never did. And then I think the one game that people are surprised when they see when I say I like this game. Have you heard of an arcade called Pump It Up?
Yes, I think so.
It's like Dance Dance Revolution. But
okay.
I think it's Korean based instead of Japanese based. And the difference is, instead of 4 dance pads on north, east, south, and west, you have 5 dance pads. You have a center and then 4 diagonals.
Oh.
And it's a little bit more complicated because you have more real estate you have to cover. But just the moves seemed smoother to me and more natural to me, thinking in terms of diagonal and a center, as opposed to up, down, left, right.
Gotcha.
So I first started playing that game. I think I was around 30 years old, and so I'm the oldest, fattest person there compared to all the other kids playing it, but I still had fun.
That's all that matters, is having fun.
Yeah. I haven't played those in a while because I ended up gaining more weight, but I lost so much weight I wanted to try them again.
It's cool.
So I'm pretty much back to where I was when I was 30.
And so you're going to post videos on that, right?
Probably not.
All right, so I found the game that I did a review on. It was called Eat Beat Dead Spikes on. Uh, and it was based on some characters, and I'm trying to remember some of it, and I actually don't have it on my Switch. I must have removed it or something. I didn't know these characters, so and the music from the games or the games that the music came from. So some of the music sounded really cool, but just couldn't get into the game like I could with Elite Beat Agents. So that one didn't grab me, but it may be something that this person who called in might want to check out. And this is on the Switch, the Eat Beat Dead Spikes on. Another one that I played that I want to play more of, just haven't gotten around to, is Arrow. And that's more of a space shooter music game where it's a lot of electronic music too. Going to that. So if you like electronic music, go for it. If you don't like electronic music, then you probably don't play this game because it's very heavy into the techno type music. And then, of course, Cadence of Hyrule. I played a little bit of that, and that's kind of beat related. So it's a little bit different of a rhythm game.
Yeah,
but
that's a game I wanted to like, but it's I just couldn't. I couldn't
it's
even
one,
get.
yeah.
I couldn't even find the boss. So
yeah, it's another one of those I want to definitely jump back into. I dabbled in it, and just other things took me away from it. So it's on my backlog, but those are the ones I have that I can see that are definitely rhythm-based type games.
yeah.
So
Marty says his entire area is out, so he's.
Well, it's just us then to finish it off.
I walked outside my office to leave. They're out here with about 5 trucks and 2 trailers mucking with the lines, so it wasn't just me.
Gotcha.
So here's the next voicemail.
Hey, Nintendo dads. Well, it sounds like SNES titles are going to be added to the Nintendo Switch Online soon. Finally, right? But I had some inside information I wanted to share with you guys in the show. So my uncle's friend's cousin's mom knows a guy whose brother's wife works at Nintendo. And she says that every SNES game is going to be available, except that everybody can only pick 4 games to download for their Switch. God, it's crazy, right? So, question for each of you guys. What 4 SNES games would you choose to be on your Switch? Have a great show, guys. Bye.
Was that Zablanc?
He didn't say.
I know he didn't say, but I'm wondering if that's Zablanc. I can't. I'm not used to everybody's voices yet, so I apologize.
Yeah, neither do I.
All right, Jesse, what's your 4? Do you have 4?
I have 4. I took the gist of these questions and put them into the Discord chat so everyone could have a chance to pre-think of answers, so without having to do everything on the fly. So the games I picked, well, one of them is my all-time favorite, so no surprise there. But the other ones aren't necessarily my favorite, but they're games that I want to play again, and because I haven't played them in a while. So we'll start with the easy one, Final Fantasy VI. Then
Nice.
Chrono Trigger. That one's I'm about ready to try playing that again. And then my other 2 games I picked were SimCity and Mario Paint. Figuring
Nice.
you can emulate the mouse with touchpad.
Yes.
So that game would be doable.
So SimCity, Mario Paint. What was the one before that again?
Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger.
And Chrono Trigger. Okay. That's funny. Okay. So I have 2 of those. I have SimCity and Chrono Trigger on my list.
Nice.
I also have Earthbound and Madden 95.
That's fair.
So I doubt if any of those will be there, but
Right.
But SimCity, I probably played that game to death on my Super Nintendo because I had very few games on my Super Nintendo because my grandparents at the time were not buying any for their grandkids, because at the time they were just like we bought into the Atari systems. It was the same with my parents too. They were like, we bought into the Atari systems. They all crashed. We're not buying any more video games ever again.
I can understand that mentality back in the 90s.
Yeah. So, so if I wanted a game, it had to be either I'd ask for money, so then I would go get it myself, or I made money doing jobs. So my games were limited. I had a handful of them. I could have put all 4 or 5 of the games I probably owned that I remember on this list, but I kind of figured they would be on there anyway.
Most of the games I had, I bought myself because Super Nintendo came out my senior year in high school, so
right.
I've had a well-established job already. I had a job since 14.
Yep, that's about the same for me. Mine was more of freshman summer after my freshman year. I got a job at Baskin Robbins, and that's how I was able to get the Super Nintendo and all that kind of stuff. So, and start getting games, but I didn't put any of the ones that we probably would get. Like your Super Metroid, Zelda, Super Mario World, those type of things. I wanted to try to pick something.
Just wait for the keep those in the back of your head. Wait till the next question.
Okay, go.
Because the next question is kind of similar, but took on a different twist.
Yes.
And this is from Ubisoft, and you're going to get a kick out of this one.
All right.
Greeting humans. This is Emusel from Skyrim. I have been intercepting your weekly communiques. If NSO gets Super Nintendo games, do you think they will get Game Boy Advance games? Which 3 Game Boy Advance games do you want to see added to NSO if that happens? Also, do you think that we will add a different tier cost for NSO? If you do not respond in 20 rels, I will have to exterminate.
He tried so hard on that voicemail. He gave me advanced early versions of it that I couldn't understand a thing he was saying. So that version was he wanted more distortion, but I said if we can't understand you, it doesn't help. So I think that turned out pretty funny.
That was pretty funny. I like that. Was it Doctor Who derelict or whatever?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, yes, if we were to get, what did he ask, GBA games, right? If they become available for Nintendo Switch Online.
Yep.
Which ones would we want? Did he say 3 that we
He said 3,
for?
but I picked 4 just because I found a 4th after making my 3 and I didn't want to scrap any. So I have 4.
All right. So I think I didn't just pick 3 either. I would want all the Metroid games, all the Castlevania games. Also, I did put a couple, I put a single ones down. I put Drill Dozer.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
That was a lot of fun. And Doom, but then I wrote down, well, I guess I have that on the Switch now, so I don't need to have that for the GBA.
Right.
So, but yeah, those are all the Metroid games.
Resolution is probably more accurate than the GBA.
Yeah, probably. Those are the ones that came top to mind. I didn't look at a list or anything like that. It was like first thing that came to mind, and that's why.
I pulled a list and then.
Yeah, if I pull a list, I know there would be a lot more, but
all right, so
I would have a hard time dwindling down.
I narrowed down to a single Metroid game. I said Fusion. I think that's like my one favorite Metroid game, and then Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. That is a game that I've been wanting to play again lately.
Yes, that is a good one. I forgot about that one.
I picked Golden Sun. I've heard some good things about the GBA version, and I've never played that. And then WarioWare Twisted, which could be done with gyro controls.
Nice. I would want, if it was possible, it would have to be some way to do it. I don't know if there's sensors, if the IR sensors on it would be able to help, but bulk tie.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a cool one to have if we could get that one. Because it's one I didn't get to play, and I wanted to play it so much just because of that mechanic of being able to, sunlight and nighttime being seen with the whatever was built into the Game Boy game. So I just thought that was a real cool mechanic, and then you play your game to that. And I know we do that now with Animal Crossing with the clock built in and all that kind of stuff, but maybe you wouldn't necessarily have to use the camera to look at what it's like outside, but
yeah. And then
it'd be kind of interesting.
Then his other question: do you think it'll have additional costs? I think we kind of touched about that earlier in the show. I don't think they will.
Right.
Or at least if they did, it'd be a bad idea.
Now, see, I've kind of had the thought, because it's been asked before, would they do that after each system? Would they make it a tier-based system? I think it's possible, where it's like
an optional package on top of the base.
Yes.
Saying, here, you have these NES games whether you want them or not, but if you want GBA, we need $5 more. If you want Super Nintendo, we want $5 more. I hope they don't do that.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible, but I'm hoping if you're a subscriber, you've got access. Let's
right.
Like Tetris.
Same here.
They didn't charge us extra for Tetris.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, too, it's like, I hope before they decide to raise any prices, they get it right first.
Right.
And then, because that's the same model, everybody, and I see that's where Disney Plus is going to go. Yeah, it's a great price right now. What, $12.99 for ESPN, Disney, and Hulu all together? I know it's going to end up going up within a year or two.
I don't care about ESPN. I already get Hulu free from my cell phone company.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Same here.
And I already have. I'm already having to strip back what services I have, and if I had CBS, I got rid of that. I still have DC Universe. It's a garbage app, but they have shows on there I want to watch.
Yeah, we did the same here because we had PlayStation View, and we were watching YouTube and Netflix more than regular cable network channels. So I canceled that.
Yeah, I would love to get rid of cable, but there's still too many things I want to watch that I can't watch in real time, so I DVR it.
Yeah.
And if I have to rely on streaming, I probably would never find the time. But at least if it's DVR, I know it's there waiting for me whenever I'm ready for it.
Believe me, we struggled with that too, but then we just kind of just did it.
Yeah, like all the DC the DC shows on the CW.
Mm-hmm.
I watch all of them, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they pull off Crisis on Infinite Earths.
I don't watch those shows, but I'm interested in that part myself. That looks very intriguing, especially with like multiple Supermans. That's crazy.
Oh, looks like we're streaming again. YouTube's been up for almost 10 minutes now.
Oh, hi everybody. Probably everybody's gone now, just already. But
yeah, I think there's only 2 people left.
Oh, they're still hanging around.
I said in the chat that I'll upload the video that I'm recording.
Okay.
And put that up live instead of the stream like I usually do.
Okay. Well, we have our podcast anyway.
How
all right.
in are we? So we're almost 2 hours in. Okay. This is a voicemail I wanted Marty to answer, but since he's not here, so here's the last one.
Hey, Dads. This is Warren G. Akers. I remembered you guys talking about the Taco Bell nacho fries several months ago, but I just tried the Burger King tacos, kind of a switcheroo between those two places. Have any of you tried that? What do you think?
I'm scared to try it. I'm just scared. I've had bad experiences with Burger King food in the past. I love their Whoppers. I love their chicken sandwiches. I just had a bad experience at the one that was close by, and so that one I just don't go to, and we don't make an effort to go to any other ones. So I'm just kind of scared to try the Burger King taco.
Yeah, I saw them and I was curious, but I'm doing a keto diet, so
yeah.
No tortilla shells for me. I could definitely order one and just have the insides, but I'm paying $1 for just a pile of meat.
Yes.
And it's just not, and probably the sauce they use probably isn't keto friendly anyway, because I actually ordered a Whopper last weekend with no bun, and it's just a sad looking thing when you know,
Yes.
with if you look at that, if they have no bun.
Right.
But it still tasted good, but it's just not the same.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, if I'm betting if Marty was here, he would have probably talked about uh the taco place he does like going to. I forget the name of it, but he's usually talking about that place that they like to go to. Do you remember what that taco place is?
I do not.
There's one that he always talked about. It's like he loves it. So
every once in a while, I'll still hit Taco Bell, but again, so many of the things have rice in it, and the sauces are probably have so much sugar in it that I shouldn't.
yeah.
So.
Yeah. Speaking of which, here Taco Bell. I don't know if you can
Nice.
see this with the light. Yep. That's what I had for dinner on my way home.
Nice.
It was a long day and just decided to eat on the road home. But I guess that's the last voicemail, right?
Yes, that was it. I think he said that might have been something else, but I don't have available. I think it was something on Patreon, but I don't have it up. So.
We do have the email, right?
Oh, yeah, we have an email. Where did it go again? Okay, it's from Mikey Burgett. So I was pondering this question and thought I'd ask y'all opinions on it. And he actually said y'all. Y apostrophe IL.
You didn't make that up for him.
I did not. It's common for movie studios to release the digital version of their films weeks in advance of the physical release, while video game companies do digital and physical releases on the same day and date. What are your thoughts of video game companies ever going to a model of selling a digital copy of a game weeks ahead of a physical copy, and would that change your buying habits? I like this question.
I think we're already seeing it, especially with some of the indie games where they first distribute it digitally, and then they sell a physical copy depending on how well it does later on.
Well, some of those I don't think are necessarily intended from the start. They just limited run games says, "Hey, want some money?"
Right. I know it's not set up that way. I like this person's talking about, but it's like I said, it's kind of that way. But
yeah, I'm presuming he's talking about more like games from
more deliberate
or games from Microsoft.
Yeah, more planned
or on the other systems or Nintendo proper. But since I'm like 99% digital anyway, it doesn't change anything on me. I would love to have a game a few weeks early.
I think it would be good because it would get people the double dip, especially because I've done that before with Metroid Return of Samus for the 3DS. I had pre-ordered it, I think, on Amazon or GameStop or something like that, but I wanted to play it right away, so I bought it digitally and downloaded it that night at midnight, and then went and picked up yeah,
that's one of the few games I do have the cart for, because I think it came bundled with the Amiibo, or it came bundled with something else. I don't remember what it was.
It was I have it somewhere around here, but it was a special package thing that you got. So not like the UK's version, which was pretty sweet. It had a little Game Boy case, of cartridge case, which was the shape of the original Game Boy cartridge. That was really cool. But it came with a keychain. Our version.
I don't even remember what I got. I don't have anything. I don't have it at my desk anymore. If I did have it.
Yep. Yeah, I did buy that special edition. That's why I got that one and kept it in the box while I had the digital version on my 3DS. So I did double dip there, and I think that's mainly what it would kind of appeal to. You'd get people who only buy physical and will wait for that, but if they really want to play a game, they're gonna buy that digital version.
Right. Then with movies, sometimes they even have, you can digital purchases available on day 1, then physical purchases available on day 8, but then you can't rent it for another 2 weeks after that. So they really want you to to buy it in one form or another before renting it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, with Netflix, I very rarely buy movies anymore. I pretty much rent everything. I still buy like DC animated movies.
Okay.
Like they just recently had Batman Hush.
Yeah, I did see that.
But yeah, those I'll buy, but I don't buy much of anything else.
Yeah, we usually buy. It's usually been for sure titles that we buy is like Pixar movies, and Marvel movies. This is usually what we've been buying for sure. And we actually did buy Shazam, so because we liked that one. So and Sammy loves that one. So
yeah,
and it's usually digital. Yep. So, but yeah, for me, I think it wouldn't hurt if they did it that way. You know, get it digital first and then buy physical later. Like, oh, I forget which game it was, but there was a company who released it went gold, and they said, well, we're going to release it digitally right now because it's available, and then we'll figure out the physical physical copy at a later date. I forget which game that was, but it was one that was for the Switch.
Okay, I do remember that happening a few times, but I can't think of any examples.
Yeah.
You know, outside of the limited run game stuff.
Right. Yeah, and this wasn't one of those limited run ones. It was just that the game was done. They were like, let's put it out there, and then the physical release will come later. So, cool.
All right. So, thanks everyone for the questions, and we'll be looking forward to more voicemails coming up. I think after this little marathon.
After 8, yes.
All right. So let's try to remember where I placed all my music here because I rearranged.
Well, while he's doing that, I'll talk about the Discord stuff. So don't forget about our Discord communities. Super cool Monthly Mayhem section. If you're not in it, don't forget to provide your updates to the Monthly Mayhem Scores channel. And thanks to Drew and Zablanc, who have been awesome at organizing it.
Thank you. All right, so don't forget we now have a website, nintendodads.org, where you can see our latest YouTube videos, tweets, and podcast episodes. Links to all of our social media and our Patreon page and the Nintendo Dads shop for all that sweet merch.
Sweet merch.
So again, if you want to leave us a voicemail, our number is 929-25-NDADS or 929-256-3237. Or you can always email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or podcast@nintendodads.org. So thanks for listening, and sorry for all the problems. I'm glad I didn't lose power because that would have been catastrophic, being the one recording everything.
It would have been a shorter episode than it was.
Right, I probably would have lost the episode.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so Marty will be back next week. Justin will be back the week following. Gary, we'll see if we can get him out of bed next week. And thanks again, Tim, for filling in.
Of course.
And
thanks for running the show, Jesse.
No problem. And also thanks to Chris Mears, John Blanco, Dave Ernstberger, and again Tim as being our Patreon producers. Well, this has been in episode 243. Wow, that number's getting large.
Getting close to 250.
Yeah, that'll be our 5-year anniversary then.
Wow. All right, I'm getting us off track.
All right. So thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Please understand.
Definitely.